This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us this Friday. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Jay Cohn. A Montana court rules in favor of author John Krakauer in his lawsuit against Montana's Commissioner of Higher Education.
A Helena District judge says UM's disciplinary records in the rape case against former quarterback Jordan Johnson are public records and will be released, but only after they've been edited.
Krakauer has sought the records concerning how the University of Montana handled the rape allegations.
But Montana Higher Education Commissioner Clay Christians tried to keep those records private, claiming they were protected by Johnson's right of privacy. In his ruling today, Judge Mike Menahan said the UM is a public institution and Johnson was a public representative of the university because of the scholarships he received to play football. The judge will allow the state to redact some of the identifying information in those documents before they're released.
Now, Krakauer focused on the Johnson case in his book, Missoula, Rape and the Justice System in a College Town. He wrote that book without complete access to the reports. Former Montana U.S. Attorney Bill Mercer says the ruling today is fairly straightforward in that the judge acknowledged most of the information in the disputed documents is already known.
Really, the foundation of the ruling seems to be that there is so much knowledge already about the matter between the criminal trial, Krakauer's book, all the publicity, that there really isn't anything in those records that, if released, isn't already known to the public. What is unknown is what was undertaken by the Commissioner of Higher Education. And the court goes on to conclude, that's a significant reason that weighs in favor of disclosure so the public has an understanding of how the disciplinary procedures work.
Now, if you think today's ruling brings the case to an end, Mercer says think again.
He says he believes the commissioner will appeal this ruling to the Montana Supreme Court, telling us, quote, there is a reasonable certainty that there will be further activity in the case.
CNN reports tonight that the first charges have been filed into the investigation of Russian meddling in the 2016 election.
But the indictment remains sealed. Weijia Zhang brings us the story tonight from Washington.
The report says a federal grand jury has approved the first charges into alleged Russian meddling in the 2016 presidential election. Those charges, however, are sealed under order from the judge.
We might not find out the specifics of this case for even a couple of days.
Special counsel Robert Mueller was appointed in May to lead the investigation into Russia, shortly after the ouster of FBI Director James Comey. The probe has extended from the Kremlin all the way to the president's former campaign chairman, Paul Manafort, Facebook, and even members of the First family.
I would think that it would be something that would be almost low-hanging fruit with a single person that is unable or unwilling to give Mueller and his investigators anything more.
President Trump calls the, quote, Russia thing an excuse for Democrats losing the election, and he wants the investigation wrapped up.
There has been absolutely no collusion. It's been stated that they have no collusion. They ought to get to the end of it because I think the American public is sick of it.
Congressional committees investigating Russian meddling have hearings scheduled for next week. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, Washington.
Facebook, by the way, now says it plans to verify political ad buyers. This after uncovering more than 3,000 election ads that were linked to Russia.
The Trump administration, including Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke, denied today that political connections had anything to do with restoring electrical connections in Puerto Rico. The controversy stems from a huge contract awarded to a tiny Whitefish, Montana company. CBS News correspondent David Begnow set out today to find the headquarters of that company, somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
Nestled down this long driveway in Whitefish, Montana is a one-story wooden house which is the home of Whitefish Energy. The tiny energy company with only 2 full-time employees surprised many.
There's mail for Andy Tekmensky.
When it received a $300 million no-bid contract to help rebuild Puerto Rico's electrical grid. Whitefish has never worked on a project of this size.
I mean, we're kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's beautiful out here, but certainly doesn't look like a headquarters for an energy company.
Hi, I'm Andy Tekmansky.
Whitefish CEO Andy Tekmansky says his company, which is located in the hometown of Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke, has 300 workers on the ground in Puerto Rico working to fix a crippled electrical system.
And it's going to help get the power back on in Puerto Rico faster.
A month after Hurricane Maria devastated Puerto Rico, 75% of that island is still without power. The controversy over the no-bid contract set off a Twitter feud between the mayor of San Juan, Carmen Yulín Cruz, and the company. Cruz believes the deal with Whitefish Energy should be voided. She described the company as, quote, inadequate and asked for transparency. Whitefish hit back, threatening to leave, writing, quote, we've got 44 linemen rebuilding power lines in your city and 40 more men just arrived. Do you want us to send them back or keep working? The company later apologized.
Whitefish released a statement saying they will cooperate with any requests from Congress, FEMA, or another government organization that wants information about their contract. They're asking people to be patient and not arrive at what they call misinformed conclusions. They also say they're proud of the work they're doing in Puerto Rico. David Begno, CBS News, Whitefish, Montana.
In Zinke's statement today, he said he encourages the Interior Department's Inspector General to review the matter. It looks as if the secretary will get his wish. Next week, 2 House committees will begin looking into the controversial contract. The House Energy and Commerce Committee and the House Natural Resources Committee will look into the issue as well.
23 years serving the Yellowstone Valley and hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. Those the lasting impressions of the now defunct Good Earth Market Co-op in downtown Billings. Last Best News reports that last night members voted 89-10 to dissolve the co-op. Debts stand at more than $500,000, but assets total just $150,000. The co-op board says all employees will be paid for hours worked and paid for time off, but most creditors will not get paid. That includes vendors of goods and services who are still owed nearly $200,000. The store also owes the IRS and the state $37,000 in unpaid taxes. Another $65,000 in member loans will also not be paid back. The only creditor that will see any sort of payment is the National Co-op Grocers Association, which is still owed $225,000, not including interest.
Turning to weather, ski resorts are rejoicing at the winter predictions, Bob, and Jay was earlier too.
Well, you remember last night we showed you the NOAA forecast and showed snow a lot wetter than normal across much of Montana and the Pacific Northwest. That's what we had last night. So how are we going to get there? What's going to happen? Well, we're going to see that weather pattern known as La Nina, not El Nino, but La Nina, and that starts with this high pressure cell over the great area, that big area of what we call the Gulf of Alaska. It's forcing all of the polar jet air to go way up in the northern half of the country, way up there towards the Arctic Circle, and it's taking all that cold air and it's pouring it down here towards Montana and the rest of the northern half of the country. While at the same time, we get the Pacific jet stream, which is a very cool and wet flow, and it's going to go over that cold air and it's going to meet, and you know what that means. Look for a stormy winter across most of the Pacific Northwest. And then what does that mean for us? It means a lot of snow moving in towards Montana, and that also means maybe about 115% of normal for all the ski reports for expecting to get snow this year. That's just about all of us. It's going to be a good snow year for all of our ski operators. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks so much, Bob.
Up next tonight on Q2, the color of power, hope, and resilience this morning. The color was pink. You can check out our Q2 Survivors Breakfast coming up.
And later in sports, Senior aims for a second straight perfect regular season with rival West in the way. Highlights coming up.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Jeanelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green.